sky so far away tonight, but I can't lose this war, get a pride of a falling night. Thought that I was fit to fight for us to be. You gave me life for loving me. Tell me, where did we go so the sky so far, but I can't lose it.
Sim racers from around the globe, honoring a revolutionary era of open-wheel racing. With a beast not easily tamed, roaring around legendary circuits at breakneck speed. When engineers and drivers push boundaries, sometimes too far. When heroes muscled roaring beast wheel to wheel around the hallowed ground. A time when the only driver aids were his 2 feet. Perfect combination of man, machine, and speed. Experience the competition and the glory of the early 80s IndyCar action. The Lionheart Retro Series presented by Sim Experience starts now.
It's time for the Thunder Down Under as we head to Australia for round 6 in the Lionheart Retro Series. It was Mark Cohn taking victory last time at Pocono in our first Triple Crown event of the season, but we return to the road courses here in southeastern Australia, knowing that qualifying might be crucial at a track that Ryan Otis led from flag to flag 12 months ago in the HyperX Grand Prix of Phillip Island. My name is Arjuna Kankipati. Alongside is Dylan Cole here live on RaceBot TV for continued coverage here in the Lionheart Racing Series powered by HyperX. Let's dive straight into our HyperX pre-show because the Lionheart Gaming Series is powered by HyperX, makers of the premier gaming gear like the legendary ultra-comfortable Cloud line of gaming headsets. Whatever you play, however you play, HyperX knows that we're all gamers. For more information on HyperX products, visit hyperxgaming.com and don't forget to use the promo code Lionheart15, that's LIONHRT15 for 15% off all orders. Dylan, back to the road courses. Sage Karam returns to the series as well. He took victory in the first 3 rounds of this championship. 2 different winners last time out. It was Aaron Morgan last time we were on the road courses at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. The Watchman taking victory a couple of weeks ago at Pocono. Today, though, here in Australia, this should be a fun one.
Yes, it's going to be an absolute blast here. It's the first race outside North America for the Lionheart Retro Series this season. And at a track where, Arjuna, you can really pass anywhere, I think we're going to see a lot of daring attempts to move not just around the inside, but maybe the outside in some sweeping corners as well.
It is a wonderfully challenging track, not just in cars, but in motorcycles as well. We will remain on the road course side of things. A couple of weeks off as, of course, the month of May. Lots of things to focus on in Indianapolis and the upcoming Indy 500. But next time from Mid-Ohio, back to the U.S. shores. Let's take a look then at our driver's standings presented by Sim Experience. And after taking victory in the first 3 rounds of the series, it's no longer Karam on top. The rookie, Matt Taylor now, Dylan, leads this championship, but only 9 points separates him and Karam.
Well, the amazing thing is that Matt Taylor has done this in 5 races without any wins. The wins coming, obviously, from Karam, from a driver in Mark Cohn, who will not be in the race today, and Aaron Morgan. So it's that consistency that is important for Taylor. I would really love to see him be able to take the challenge to Karam throughout the rest of this season.
Well, he's second in practice right now, only 1/10 behind Sage Karam in the 2-car. Ryan Otis did lead from a flag to flag last year, so qualifying will be important. What can Taylor do then in the time that he will have allotted out on track? A look at the rookie standings presented by Butt Kicker. Of course, Taylor on top in one, he'll be on top in the other. It's Nick DeGroot provisionally in second here, editor and writer from motorsports.com, part of the factory back team that we've seen very impressive on a Monday as well. But heading back to the road courses, Dylan, we know the likes of Lavoie Motorsport, Alex Gouillon, Jean-Francois Matt, they will be strong here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we have to talk about the strength of this rookie class as a whole because it seems like every single race, all of the rookies, they are putting themselves on the stream courtesy of their great driving. They always are putting themselves in a place to potentially win the race. And you know what? That's a beautiful thing to see. We're going to see some drivers who are better on ovals, better on road courses, but most of all of these drivers, they've been just consistently good and impressive. And that's what you love to see from a rookie class.
I do love always seeing rookies coming forward in series like this. A look at the team standings then presented by HyperX as Avatar Order Racing. Just like in the other 2 Lionheart competitions, the IndyCar and the Speedway Series, running away at the top, almost 100 points clear. But then Raven Motorsports, Graphics, LC, and Lavoie all embroiled in a close battle for second with Elite West Motorsport in pursuit as well. Let's talk a bit about the series details presented by -273, the premier name in karting gloves. Their industry-leading gloves are super lightweight and durable, made of a breathable poly spandex. Whether you're a kart or a sim racer, -273 gives you the control to reach victory lane. For more information on -273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit -273.biz, and don't forget to use the promo code -273LHRS15 for 15% off all orders. We finished up with the first of our Triple Crown races last time out. Dylan, you unfortunately missed the action, and Jonathan Burke got to step in your neck of the woods in Pocono. Next time we head to the Triple Crown races, it will be at the Brickyard. I can't wait for that one.
Well, it's funny, it's going to be Jonathan's neck of the woods, kind of, because obviously the Illinois-born kid is going to be close to Indianapolis with that. But yes, Pocono, Indy, and obviously Auto Club as the Triple Crown. There are no better tracks, I think, to have as your 2 and 2.5 milers with that famed name to it. I think the racing there with the Lotus 79, especially on the ovals this season, it's been absolutely fantastic. Had some great racing in Pocono. We're going to have some better racing, I think, once we go to Indy in just a month and some changes time. But Arjuna, we've got the race today, and I think a lot of drivers are looking forward to it, specifically because it does kind of give you that randomness that not always all road courses have.
Taking a look at these wonderful aerial shots of the track. Qualifying underway, by the way, 10 minutes in solo car qualifying, so the drivers get the track to themselves for their fastest 4 laps that they can set. Here are the event details in our second trip down under for some thunder. Ryan Otis did lead from flag to flag 12 months ago. Does not return to defend here today. We have been seeing him make guest appearances on the road courses. It's a difficult mix of slow and high-speed corners. That does mean you'll see some drivers maybe being faster at some points on the track, struggling in other points. And I found this really interesting, Dylan. The real-world lap record, a 1:24.2215 set by a Formula Holden car. Last year's lap record, a 1:22.277. We are going faster than they go in the real world at this track.
Well, that's because Phillip Island doesn't really have too many high-profile series racing at it, which, honestly, I think it's a shame. It would be a great track to see some of the best open-wheel cars come to, but unfortunately, it's not that case here. I think the action corner, the action zone I was talking to you before we came live, Turn 4, Honda corner. It's right after a hugely fast left-hander in Turn 3, Stoner corner. Obviously, that follows other fast corners on the track. That's going to be a quick deceleration zone. We're going to see some passes try to be made, and if you get it wrong, you're going to go in the grass, and you could potentially hit some barriers.
I tell you what, let's talk a bit more about this track. You don't get a sense of the elevation change that runs around this track. It really is carved into Phillip Island in Victoria. About 4 and a bit kilometers, 12 corners in total. Opened in 1978, but racing on Phillip Island has a history going all the way back to 1928 when they used to race, guess what, on the public roads. A story that I think a lot of people will be familiar with. You start coming down that long pitch straight through the sweeping right-hander of Turn 1 that sometimes might be flat out. Don't think it will be in the Lotus 79s, through the southern loop, and that's where Dylan said Turn 3 is a very quick left-hander into the first of the switchback hairpins, Dylan, and then you work your way in towards Lukey Heights.
I don't think that this graphic can even show how major the elevation changes are going to play a factor here. I mean, once you go around Siberia, which is 6, you go all the way up to Turn 9, which is probably the height of this track in Lukey Heights. Then you come down a quick, sharp Turn 10 right-hander before finally coming back around, sweeping onto the front stretch, the Gardner Straight. Another one that's going to be difficult, Arjuna, the Southern Loop, Turn 2. That is off camber. That will be uncomfortable.
What I'm trying to do is pick up some drivers coming across the start-finish line. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that, but I tell you what, let's jump on board with championship leader Matt Taylor here coming through the Southern Loop, and let's ride around for a lap at Phillip Island. Out of Turn 2 on the power as aggressively as he can, down in through the quick A sweeping turn 3, provisional pole position for Matt Taylor in the 8 machine. Lap times on the left-hand side of your screen. Braking at the 100-meter marker in towards turn number 4. Misses the apex here, but on the power very gently, and now in towards Siberia. This one is cambered in, but he's running a slightly wider line to just enable him to get onto the power that little bit earlier. Uses all of the track on offer as well, and now into one of my favorite sections, not just in Australia, but of course of the iRacing service as well. In through Lukey Heights. It's a double left-hand apex where you kind of commit full throttle as Taylor does on the entry, but stick to the left-hand side down the hill, braking at the 50 marker in towards this very tricky right-hand hairpin that leads you into this deceptive second to last corner. You can see Taylor not really using too much of the curb on the inside, but that's because on the power, Dylan, in through the final corner and under the start-finish line.
My goodness, isn't that such a roller coaster ride to watch? It's so much fun. I'm sure that all of the drivers are enjoying it, but they're also a little bit nervous at the same time as Taylor gets I believe that was a 1:21.544 time, so not improving. But I'll tell you what, from a lap like that, from the track like this, it shows a lot of your skill. I mean, you saw how much curb he was taking going in the Honda, the one where he did go wide. It didn't really hurt, I don't think. Maybe it lost him a tenth because that turn 5, that small right-hand kink, I mean, it's such a small, short section before you slow back down again.
I think, by the way, Sage Karam will be starting from the tail end of the field. We're riding on board with the former Indy 500 competitor Richie Hearn. Great to see him on provisional pole position, but Sage Karam is not out there on track for qualifying. My suspicion here, Dylan, is I remember seeing something about an end-of-line penalty for Sage because of some contact earlier in the season. I believe he'll be starting back in 29th position.
Let me try to find some clarification on that as well, because if that is true, we're going to see potentially a masterclass run throughout the field here.
Must say as well, Richie Hearn, someone not usually accustomed to running at the front on the road courses, especially I think here, and we've got a driver profile for him coming up later on. Let's see what he can do. Out of turn 12 though. It's a 1:15 and counting for the number 70 machine. Lots of cars already down on pit road with still 3 minutes left on the clock. He doesn't improve, but neither does anyone else to go faster than him. David Sirwar has gone up to provisional second. Matt Taylor now in third with Michael O'Brien in fourth.
This is a surprising qualifying so far as DJ Clark will come past the line and get into 16th or 15th, that is. And Matt Taylor, you see him, a little bit of smoke coming out as he's on provisional third right now. This is the corner he had so much trouble with. And yes, Arjuna, I believe you were correct about Sage starting from the back. That's going to be interesting, though, to see what's going to go on with his race, because it is going to be dangerous for him at high speeds to try and make a lot of passes.
Well, he's going to be one of our hard chargers in the race, that's for sure, as he ride on board with the championship leader down the hill into the braking zone here. A confirmation, by the way, coming from last week's race winner as Taylor loose through the right-hand hairpin. That will end qualifying for him, and indeed for the majority of the competitors as well at the front of your field. I think Ricky Harding might be one of the final cars coming to set a lap time, so we'll check in with the number 7 car. But oh so tricky to get the power down a bit too aggressively through that corner. Harding looking like he's going very slowly, so with 90 seconds left, I do think we have our 30 cars ordered for now. I was just saying as well, it was last week's race winner and part of race control on occasion, Mark Cohn, that was jumping into our YouTube chat to confirm that one.
Yep.
That was a fun race. I'm not sure if you got to catch it, Dylan, because of course you were a bit busy doing some other things, but we got treated to the typical Pocono photo finish.
I don't recall what those other things were that I was doing, but nonetheless, it was, of course, not as important as Pocono was. What do you think the hardest corner is here, Arjuna?
Ooh, I'm looking at a track map right now. In a car like this, I think every corner is probably a challenge. Because
I'm thinking 10.
You've got two different challenges, right? 10 is the problem of getting the power down. Something like turn 1 or turn 2, it's going to be slowing it down enough to get the car turned in without slowing, sacrificing too much time. So I think two different challenges here. Be interesting what Karam can do from the tail end of the field.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch his progress throughout the field. But how about Richie Hearn? That is awesome to see him right now. Provisional pole, we think he's going to be up there as we see a car come out of the pits maybe to just get a few more corners of practice. That's what I'd be doing if I was that driver out there. But Arjuna just 15 seconds away from making it official for Richie Hearn and the rest of the field. I'm excited for this race. It's going to be a banger of a race.
And on the front row, it will be Richie Hearn for the first time taking us to the green flag alongside a rookie in David Sirwa. Checkered flag flies in qualifying. Let's go trackside here in Australia to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. So here is your butt kicker starting grid. It's the 70 of Richie Hearn on pole position, a 1:21.356. He'll be a very happy man, leading us to the green flag. David Sirwa on his outside, less than half a tenth of a second between the two cars, with Matt Taylor in third. Michael O'Brien rounding out row number 2. Mike Rasmas inside of Chris Fowler in the HyperX Racing number 20. With Ricky Harding and Aaron Morgan on row number 4. Morgan won last time on the road courses. What can he do then on the outside of that row with Chris Reagan and Lionel Callisto on the edge of the top 10? It's an All of One Motorsports row 6 with Alex Guyon inside of his teammate Jean-Francois Matt, Ariel Alanis and Paul Jenkins on row number 7. DJ Clark alongside Danny Roberts 15th and 16th, with Chris Staples alongside Robert Mikes in the number 17. Trevor Malone in the number 34 inside of series organizer George Anzaldo. Covey Moore inside of Isaac Snyder in the pink and blue. Cody Wenzen and Craig Forsyth row number 12, with Chris Lanini and Tyler Groff on row number 13. Nick DeGroot alongside Caleb Benshi for Team Race First, with Sage Karam and Paul Slavonic starting from the tail end of this field. So a very intriguing race up here on the horizon. 51 laps, and we haven't talked about strategy just yet, Dylan, so let's do that right now. The fuel window, about 21. It does mean cars guaranteed to be down on pit road at least twice in this race.
Yep, and it's going to be a very tricky pit exit because it basically merges right back onto the track. It's not basically, it does merge right back onto the track. So when that happens, all of the cars that are going by the slower traffic will have to really keep their eyes peeled to make sure we don't have any catastrophes happening into turn 1.
Drivers have actually, I think, been informed they have to use the second of the pit exits, which takes you right in. Ooh, there's been a bit of a check up there. And I'm not sure who that is with significant front wing damage already. But wow, right off the bat then, drama. We'll talk a bit about that pit exit. You caught it out of the corner of your eyes from that camera shot we just had a moment ago. It merges in through turn 1 rather than across the start-finish line. It will be interesting, Dylan, how drivers adapt to that. Yeah,
that is a unique pit exit to take. But you know what? When they do have to take it, I think it's going to be a while safer. There's going to be more mistakes that happen. It's grassy, it's thin right around the edges, so we're going to see some mistakes, more than the one we just saw right as they got going. I'm still trying to check out who was the driver with all of the front wing damage. Can't quite see it yet.
I think it might be Chris
Covey.
Ooh, Covey Moore. Okay,
Covey Moore.
I tell you what, we'll have to unpiece that one in a second. We have, as always, onboard cameras to take a look at, so let's quickly work through at least 4 of them. First up, it's Michael O'Brien with the HyperX onboard. Whatever you play, however you play, HyperX knows we're all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game. Ricky Hardin has the Graphics Esports onboard, world-class design from the real world to virtual. Visit graphicsesports.com. So it looks as though with a slightly shorter 30-car grid, only 2 cameras rather than the 4 we usually get to take a look at. Dylan, give us that report. You've been taking a look at the cars with damage.
Yep, it's unfortunate, but it is Cody Wenzen, and it looks like Covey Moore. So Cody and Covey with the damage and the bigger mistakes, I guess you could say, in the season so far. Cody Wenson is the one with way more damage, even though Covey has a slight tick, I guess you could say, on the front wing, one side of it. It's not good.
Well, I tell you what, that's going to be something to contend with now over the next 51 laps, but Pace Truck about to pull down onto the safety of pit lane. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart, and at the front, it's Richie Hearn for the first time bringing us to the green flag here in the HyperX Grand Prix of Phillip Island. Onto the main straight, we rumble, and the engines roar as we get underway with the green flag action. 3 wide they go as it's Chris Fowler in the middle of the sandwich. Danny Roberts defending aggressively down in towards turn number 1. They're all working their way through safely. Richie Hearn able to hold on to the race lead with Matt Taylor defending from Mike Rasmas and Michael O'Brien from behind as the championship leader, Dylan, focuses on keeping that points advantage.
Yeah, almost coming together right there at the exit of 2 into 3. This fast left-hand sweeping turn as they head into Honda. Will some daring attempts be made? Oh no! There's calamity in the Honda! All the front runners are taken out!
It was Chris Fowler that plowed into the side of, who was that? The Lavoie Motorsports car of David Sirois, who started on the outside of the front row. Chaos then in through turn 4, and the field scrambles their way in through a Siberia. Ricky Harding finds himself in second, up 4 positions, with Lionel Callisto rounding out the podium positions, but being hunted down by Chris Reagan. Let's check in further back in the pack as well, because there was lots of side-by-side action as they work their way down the hill. That's Chris Staples getting on past DJ Clark. Right behind them, it's Sage Karam trying to make up a number of positions. He's already up 10 into the top 20 here.
Well, it's easy to get positions, especially when there's a huge incident. Matt Taylor, the championship leader, was heavily involved, is in the pits. I don't know if he's going to be able to get this race back underway for that car, the 8 machine. Oh my goodness, that's just such a shame.
And we will take a look at the replays as soon as we can. For now, let's pick up the live action, because there goes Karam down the inside of George Anzaldo, working up now 16th on today's action. If we can get up into the top 10 with Matt Taylor down on pit road, that will be crucial in terms of the championship picture. But look at the gap out front that Richie Hearn is scrambling away with here, Dylan. Hearn is a man on a mission, and I think that was Callisto trying to make a move on Aaron Morgan.
Yeah, as we get a view, a much prettier view, I think, of Honda this time around for all of the competitors up front. This is another challenging corner. It's almost like a mini carousel, just not as extreme, I guess you could say, like the Nordschleife. Is that comparison relevant?
I know what you mean, and I don't think it's too far afoot as well. Single file, Morgan now tucks into line. So 1, 2, 3, it runs Richie Hearn, Ricky Harding, and Chris Reagan, who has managed to get on past Lionel Callisto in the 97, completing lap number 2. The gap out front is 3 seconds. That silver and pink number 70 machine is on a special type of fuel in a week, Dylan, where fuel in the U.S. has been a very special commodity.
Yeah, you have to remind me. Apparently, though, everything with the pipeline is back underway. I think we'll be okay.
Well, side by side, it's still O'Brien and Morgan in through turn 1. You can run like that, but the 48 will have the inside of the southern loop. The 97, though, supremely confident under the brakes. Can he hold it, though, on the power? Morgan, oh, look at that, up into 4th position. This is wonderful action between the two of them. All the while, though, it's Richie Hearn that runs away. I think we have the first of our RaceBot TV replays queued up on the start. And so let's try and figure out everything that happened. Down in towards Honda, you can see it's Chris Fowler just missing his braking zone. It was Mike Rasmas that got the first bit of contact, Dylan, but it was Sirois, I think, who was the big loser.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone, I think it's Taylor. I mean, he's pretty much out of the race. He had some pretty big suspension damage in his rear. It just completely missing the brake. Takes out so many drivers. That's worthy of a major look after the race as well, and maybe repercussions going into the next race at Mid-Ohio. That's just, wow. I mean, look at this slow motion right here. Takes out 1, 2, 3, 4, himself included is 4. And do we have any more?
Well, you can see, I think that was Kalisto and Morgan who just about squeeze on through. Behind, I wonder if there was more contact as they go 3 wide off the exit. I think, Dylan, it was a bit of a mistake there. It doesn't look like it was an intentional thing. Lap one jitters, maybe just forcing the issue a bit too much as it's a battle for second now as Chris Reagan has stormed around the outside, I think, through the southern loop up into second. And here comes Aaron Morgan to try and take advantage as well. They'll work side by side down into that tricky braking zone of turn number 4. Can Morgan get up into the podium positions? Hard and deep under the brakes, locks up, I think, very slightly, and Morgan into third as Reagan gets sideways. Kalisto through on the inside as well.
Yeah, wow, that was just some weird driving. It almost looked like he gave up the position to Morgan, but nonetheless, Kalisto is now going at Morgan. We'll see if he gets anything going on here up into Lukey Heights. Also, Sage Karam, he's up the positions.
Sage Karam is still working now up into the top 10. This is what he needs, and Taylor down on pit road still working whatever damage he's trying to get repaired. On board with the HyperX, Lucas. We work through turn 11. In race trim, they are using a lot more of the inside curve than I'd expect. At least some of these cars, but in through turn 12, draft on offer. You can see in front, it's Aaron Morgan tucked up behind Chris Reagan. So battle for second now is Richie Hearn. Delighted to see these two continuing to scrap it out as I think side by side further back as well. Morgan around the outside. Can he get it done in through turn 1? Reagan feels like defending it and holds on for now, but Morgan in the yellow and white once more down the inside here, Dylan, working through the southern loop.
Oh my goodness, Aaron Morgan is a man on the mission. If there's one driver other than Sage Karam that might be able to contend with Richie Hearn for the rest of this race, it might be Morgan. He looks confident around some of these sweeping corners, and we'll see him defend the position here in the Honda.
Oh, that's DJ Clark off the road. Ooh, hold on to that one, and indeed he just about does. And let's take a look for the HyperX racing car. What's happened here? If we can spool up a RaceBot TV replay. Here it comes. And down in towards turn 2, just a little bit sideways and a bit deep under the brakes, trying to follow, I believe that was Isaac Snyder in front. And we'll take a look at the onboard look as well here, Dylan. Dirty air playing a bit of a factor.
You could say that's lack of Aero X racing.
You got me to unmute myself there, Dylan, to express my laughter on stream.
Good. That was the goal.
Back to live pictures, we jump. Left side of your screen, take a look at the, well, can you call them movers and shakers or can you call them survivors and, well, victims as they are? It's Reagan up 6, Karam up an incredible 21 positions, and I tell you what, Dylan, he might be the one to hunt down Richie Hearn. He's only 7 seconds adrift from the race leader right now.
I mean, that's unbelievable. I wish we could get, if we had a bigger crew, I think we could get replays of every single move that he was making, because my goodness, what a long highlight video it would be for him as he's coming around 3, going into 4, and he's got a lot of traffic in front of him, but some clear air. Oh, you saw that lockup. Almost gave him some extra free positions.
That's Harding, I think, defending from Kalisto.
Oh, what happened? What happened to Jean-Francois Matt?
Oh, you're right. Something's happened to the Lavoie Motorsports car, so not...
Oh, no. He's off track and at Honda, and there's a spin right at the exit of Honda.
That's Covey Moore as well in the factory-backed car. I'm not sure if 2 goes into 1. I think Tyler Groff is off the road as well. Oh, that's a bit more chaos in through Siberia. Well, it's all kicked off. I tell you what, straight to the RaceBot TV replay machine we will go. And I tell you what, I think it's got a couple of secrets to reveal to us. That's Danny Roberts just deep under the brakes, and Matt, well, defending the inside of the track, as you can see here as well. We'll take one more look at it. Not sure if Roberts necessarily knew what was going on there. Next up, it was Covey Moore coming on to the scene of the accident, I would have to assume. That's the factory back car. So no, just getting onto the power a little bit too much there.
Okay.
And now we've got to pick up Tyler Groff.
You see the backgrounds.
So here's Tyler Groff side by side with a 78 of Paul Slavonic, who also started at the tail end of the field. There's going to be contact there. Ooh, we need a closer look at that one, Dylan.
Oh, indeed we do. Couldn't quite see exactly what happened. There was right in front of Karam, there was another car that just went off live. But we'll see right here through the replay. I don't know. I still don't know what to say about that one. It's hard to tell when we don't have it just like with a shot that's right behind or right head on. with those two drivers right there.
Let's try this one. Let's go for a bit of an
the chopper.
Exactly, a bit of an aerial look, and it's two going into one.
It looked like there was movement to the right.
That's a bit more of a racing incident. I see the car, by the way, that was off. It was Lionel Callisto. Take a look here, down into Siberia. Oh, jacked up by Ricky Harding. Not the first time we've seen that one. He'll be lucky, though. The 97 don't have too much damage. Let's rejoin the live pictures and pick up, I tell you who, Sage Karam here. Almost into the top 5, Dylan. It's not going to take him long as he hunts down Harding in front.
There's a reason Sage Karam is a perennial IndyCar driver. Don't block off the run from Sage Karam, though. Harding, will he lose it? He saves it. Oh, my goodness. That could have been bad.
I think for a moment he did lose it, in fact, and just about held on to that one with the bias ply tires in the gravel as well. Working lap 8, Sage Karam up 24 positions on the day, finds himself 6.8 seconds behind the race leader. That will be a very fascinating battle to watch. Another battle that's happening right now is Snyder. Contact. Oh, that's a bit more contact, and I believe that's Caleb Benchy in the team race first number 5. Oh, damage to the front wing, and I believe contact there with Isaac Snyder and Robert Mikes as the 5 still trying to find his way back onto the track.
Be careful, son, as you're getting back on. I feel like Steve Matchett trying to say anything to some of these drivers. There's been some suspect driving, I can't lie, Arjuna, through the first 8 laps of this race.
Well, we did say you can pass anywhere, and that's what's happening. It was Snyder just a little bit slow, if you ask me, coming through the apex of the corner. We'll take one more look at it here, maybe from Mike's onboard look if we can. Might not have been Mike's. Here, we'll take a look at Rasmus's. This will be an even better one. Yeah, it was Mike's just coming across the track and slamming into the side of Caleb Benchy, who's had to reset back down onto pit road. So maybe day done for the team race first machine. We rejoin the live pictures and the battle for second place with Aaron Morgan being hunted down by Chris Reagan. Michael O'Brien in close pursuit as well, Dylan. Second, third, and fourth, only separated by 0.6 of a second.
Half this race has been in the replay column. Hopefully we're going to be getting some good racing without any punts, as you will, throughout the rest of this race. We said Honda was going to be one of the action zones, and, well, it's proving to be just that as they round turn 6, heading up to the uphill sections of Phillip Island, and you see lurking in the background, who but Sage Karam. Oh, no! A driver goes off! And that's Covey Moore.
This one looks a bit more self-inflicted, but I tell you what, the RaceBot TV replay machine misses nothing.
It's broken. Oh!
It misses nothing, Dylan. Don't you worry. And, like I said, just getting onto the grass. This I did also say as well, I think one of the trickiest tracks we have on the iRacing service, Dylan. So combine it with a brutal machine like the Lotus 79, and I think the end result is drivers sometimes struggling to keep it on track. But when it works out, when they're working side by side, it does produce some really good action. Like we're seeing here as the 19 machine of Reagan back down the inside in through turn 1. Don't think the 48 will give this one up in through turn 2. Back down under the brakes. Will he look? No, he doesn't. Because I think they both know. Here comes Sage Karam, a man on a mission.
You know, Sage Karam went the last lap 0.4 quicker than Richie Hearn. I mean, that is just ridiculous.
So what's his lap times then? A 1:21.240 the last time around as Reagan, I think, checks up that group coming in through turn number 4. Karam's fastest lap time, he's the only car, Dylan, I'm not sure if you noticed this, to break into the 120s, a 29.42.
Last lap. I believe that was his last lap as well. Yes, lap 8 was that lap, and you have to remember, he's been in traffic for most of this race. I mean, this is unbelievable. Once he gets clear air and he's able to chase down Richie Hearn, I mean, man, you almost feel bad for Richie right now because he does have a driver who is on track faster than him right now, who is just going to continue putting in these laps. However, he still has to get past this pack of 3 cars, and they want to keep their podium position fight going on without it going down to just one podium spot available.
I tell you what as well, if I'm these three cars, I'm going to form a impenetrable wall to make sure Sage Karam doesn't have anywhere to go. He's lurking, trying to get to the outside of Michael O'Brien in through the southern loop. Can he stick it around the outside? That will become the inside into the braking zone. Not able to pull alongside, but he's ducking, he's weaving, he's looking for a way past. It's going to pull to the inside of turn 4, and I have a feeling make it look very easy because Michael O'Brien does not defend that one. Sage Karam, 25 positions gained, now up into 4th.
Sage was being a little bit naughty, I felt, through turn 2, trying to force his way by Michael O'Brien, but he kept it on track, came within a yard or so, a meter or so, if you will, of the grass, which would have sent him all the way into the tire barriers. This is going to be dangerous, though, because both Morgan and Reagan, they have been some of the quicker guys. Oh, no! Karam, he's off into the grass. He comes back on track, loses one spot. Are you kidding me?
Just about holds on, but now has to do the work once more as he tucks into line once more. No damage to the front end of that car. Chris Lanini is going to come down onto pit road now. Not sure why. We're not in the fuel window as well. Only 12 laps into this race. And there was an incredible action going on. Karam, let's see if we can pick up the RaceBot TV replay. Dylan, talk us through what you were seeing on your feed.
Yeah, so this was just came out of nowhere. He was going a little bit wide, as he's been doing throughout a lot of these passes. Almost came back on and hit Michael O'Brien. Thankfully, though, there was no damage done. He is just now going to have to retry that all over again.
Oh, Danny Roberts and Chris Staples side by side once more. This battle for 7th on back has been intensifying. Look at the deep send from Staples in the 96. Just about able to apply the anchors in time. He will hold on to 8th for now, but 43 behind and 25 in Ariel Alanis are lurking as we have another car that's gone off the track. It's Cody Wenson backwards in through the southern loop. Will rejoin, having taken that damage early in this race, Dylan. I'm guessing that probably had just a little bit to do with that.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate for both Cody and Covey in this race so far. The Cody and Covey damaged brothers, I guess you could say. Yeah, it's been unfortunate, but it definitely had something to do with that. This is the battle, again, we're going to see, and Richie Hearn is off in the distance. He does not want to pay any attention to this. He just needs to worry about his own race. Will a move be done by any of these competitors into 2, Arjuna?
I don't think so. Karam might think about it. In fact, it's O'Brien who thinks about it as a defense from Karam behind. So you can see all of these drivers, I think, know that he's lurking. But in the meantime, Hearn has extended the gap. It's now 4.7 between him and Morgan. If he can get it up to about 5, maybe 6 seconds, what can he do with that advantage? There's the move down to the inside once more from Sage. Karam slots now right into the line behind Chris Reagan and now sets to work on hunting a podium position once more. Jump onto the nose cam here and take a look as we ride on board with the IndyCar driver. Not going to be competing this coming weekend, Dylan, in the Indy GP, but he'll be full eyes focused on his Indy 500 campaign.
Yeah, that will be exciting to see what he's able to do there. You know, it's been fun to watch a lot of the IndyCar races this year, mostly because of how weird the rookie class is, right? I feel like it's been the most interesting rookie class in a number of years in IndyCar. Sage Karam, he's going to obviously be competing against a few of them. Actually, I think it's just McLaughlin in the Indy 500, right?
Yeah, I think just McLaughlin, Grosjean, and, of course, Johnson sitting out. Here comes the draft. What's going to happen? Will they look 3 wide? Reagan, I think, content to tuck in. Can Karam get 2 in 1 down in through turn 1? Yes, he does. It's Karam into second. It's Karam with a 4.2 advantage to hunt down, and Richie Hearn will be looking in his rear view mirrors now as he's got a new challenger on his mind.
That looked so easy for Sage Karam to just get into the draft and get by both drivers in just one straightaway. There was nothing to even contend about there. He gets a little bit of a lockup, though. He's all good. He's fine. He gets off the curbing and back into the throttle. And you see all these drivers now. Morgan, Reagan, O'Brien. I mean, what do you do? What can you do except just stare in awe at them? They've got their own race to contend with, but Now it's almost like it's a battle for third. You got to watch what Richie Hearn and what Sage Karam are going to do in this run. They've just been incredibly fast in this race. Hey, you never know. Maybe Morgan or Reagan or O'Brien can put up a little bit of a fight of their own.
I'm trying to say this nicely, Dylan. No. And there's a reason. I'm not just trying to sound like a total know-it-all here. As always, I've got the power of the RaceBot TV graphics to power me. Take a look at the lap times from Sage Karam. The last 2 times across the line have been 120s, an 8.52 the first time, a 9.12 the second. At the strike, guess what it was last time around, Dylan? A 9.43.
This is a spec series, right?
That's what I've been told, but I think we need to get out there into race control and check. And Nick Sudik in the YouTube chat, I think, puts it perfectly here, Dylan. Jaws music intensifies.
Yes, Jaws music does indeed intensify. I will say, though, good job by this trio of drivers to sort of stay with Sage Karam right now.
Well, I tell you what, now that Karam's on pass, let's try and turn our attention elsewhere, at least for the time being, and see what else is going on. There have been lots of other battles. I see Malone and Forsyth have been squabbling.
Ooh. You see that right there? Sorry to cut you off, but Danny Roberts did just that to Mike Razmas.
No, I did not see Dylan because I was too busy looking down at my timing screen, so it's a good thing you called that one out. So they're getting feistier now. Lap 15, working into the fuel window, about 19 to 21 laps, Dylan. So in about 5 laps' time, we might see the first of these cars down onto the lane.
Yep, and I think some of these drivers, it comes into strategy as a move down the inside. Razmas, will he get by Danny Roberts? Does not clear him, though, and maybe will in just a few seconds. No, he's not going to be clear. He thinks he is for a moment, tries to push him down to the inside. He has the draft, but Danny Roberts will get a semblance of it. Into turn 2 they go.
But now inside, of course, given to the 68 machine, but the all red. Can he do it around the outside? Just about keeps the right rear out of the gravel, but allows Razmas to slide up into 9th position. So lap 16 here. Razmas looking very rapid. Now looks to the inside of Staples down in towards turn 4. Side by side under the brakes. And the 68, 2 positions gain in just half a lap's time. In front of them as well, it's close between Ricky Harding and Alex Guyon. There's Lavoie Motorsports number 08. He has just lost the position to Ricky Harding. What we're seeing, Dylan, is tire life and tire conservation is influencing when different people are fast during the run.
And to update, Arjuna, I'm not sure if you have it in any...
Oh, Staples!
Oh, no!
Through the gravel!
Will he be able to get it going? Yes, he does. So he'll stay on. I don't know if he had any damage there. Be careful.
Oh.
It always makes me so uncomfortable seeing drivers rejoin.
Take a look at this, though. It's Roberts.
Oh.
Not sure if that's maybe a bit similar to what I
Naughty.
missed before there, Dylan.
A little. It was kind of dissimilar, but I will say a little naughty right there.
A little naughty. A couple more RaceBot replays to take a look at for Snyder in the pink and blue. Can he hold on to it? Oh, and in the background, Slavonic all by himself.
Cue the song all by himself. Oh, my goodness.
On board with the 78. Take a look here. Listen to the engine as well, just off into the gravel. You see Snyder on the grass as well and goes for a bit of a sympathy spin. We've got another incident to take a look at, Dylan, so let's not dawdle and take a look at what's happened to Nick de Groot for factory backed.
Oh, no. What happened to de Groot?
Well, in through the braking zone of turn 10, runs a bit wide and... Oh,
yeah.
Just a little bit of a lazy spin there.
That was the cutest looking spin I've ever seen.
The most anticlimactic of spins, given how the day has gone so far.
Oh, man, but I'm sure de Groot is very happy about that being a very minimalistic looking spin.
I'm probably not so happy that the all-seeing eye up here in the production booth has managed to catch it. On board we jump with the Lannis, edge of the top 10, now tucked up behind Danny Roberts because of all of the carnage between Roberts and I think the Chris Staples 96. They've fallen about 2 and a bit seconds off the back of the 68 car, who's hunting down the Lavoie Motorsports machine of Guyon for 7th. Alanis tucked up in the draft, looks to the inside through turn 1, but I think just decides to relent for now. With just a couple of laps to go into the fuel window. Gap out front. Not sure if you've been checking along with it, Dylan, but down below 3 seconds for the very first time.
I will say, though, really good job still by this trio behind Karam to stick with him. This has been impressive. Richie Hearn, he's got a load of drivers to contend or worry about, but I wonder if this makes him decide to go into the pits a little earlier. I don't know. Maybe. Just waiting until they get close enough. What do you think the best call is? The undercut or maybe an overcut?
Given what we've seen today, if you're Richie Hearn, do you think about strategy, Dylan, or do you just think about survival?
Okay, fair enough. By the way, Michael O'Brien and Chris Reagan just had a little scuffle happen.
Oh yeah, they're very close, and you can see falling off the back of Aaron Morgan as they'll work side by side across the start-finish line. Gap out front down to 2.5 seconds. Richie Hearn's internet has done a wonderful job of holding up for him so far today. Wonder how aggressive he'll push it on the defense with Karam. Still side by side as Reagan trying to slip a move down the inside. Gets it done for now. But these cars 1.5 seconds adrift from Aaron Morgan. So lots of work to do to catch up with the 48 machine.
I must say, as you know what, I'll wait to say it until we see if there will be a move done into Honda. A deep run down the inside. Will he make it stick? You could see he's just struggling with these tires, as old as they are. Drifting a little bit around there. But love. We do love when you talk to us through the YouTube chat. Just Nick Sudik, he's having another absolute beauty here of a comment, and I must say the group just wanting me to blast that Euro beat with those drifts. I see you, Nick. And if you make that, let us know.
I'm trying to think, is there a more appropriate genre of music than Eurobeat? Probably not.
No. Yeah, no. What are you talking about?
I'm struggling to think of one. Gap out front, by the way, now down below 2 seconds at the start-finish line. Karam has the pink and silver machine in his sight. At the line, it's a 1:29.70 from the two machine. He has found the most incredible of pace here today as Mike Razmas, the first of the cars coming down onto pit road, Dylan. So the pit window open, and we've got a car to blink.
We'll have to see where this will put him, because I believe as he came in, he was in position 10, if I do remember quite exactly when he walked in, when he drove into it. Very quick stop. I don't think he decided to take any tires there, so just fuel only, and goes around this weird portion of a pit exit, the safer one, but this is dangerous right here. Oh my goodness. There is not much width there for a car to get around.
It will. Ooh, David
Speaking about around.
Yeah, speaking about around indeed. That was the car that started on the outside of the front row. Has not been, can you say an easy day? I think that would be putting it mildly, to be completely honest. It's been a torrid day for the 99. Let's take a look at what's happened to him in through the southern loop then. Already some damage to the rear end of that car, and it just steps around on him, and he goes for a bit of a 180.
Look at that rear wing damage as well. Not really something that can be fixed, so something we'll have to deal with. We've got a bunch going into pit lane. Morgan is one of them.
I think everyone's going to come down this time
Richie
around
Hearn,
with the fuel window being where it is, and
Karam.
You got Karam, O'Brien, Reagan. The only car to stay out there was Alanis. I think Danny Roberts has had some sort of an issue coming down onto pit road, or has he missed his box? I'm not sure what's happened there. We'll pick it up. But the race off of pit road, it's close between Hearn and Karam. Down to just a couple of tenths now for the race lead, and brings in Morgan as well. The top three cars separated by just 1.5 seconds as they thunder their way back onto the race course, merging in through turn one. And you know what? If I'm Richie Hearn, I don't think I'm going to put up too much of a fight here, Dylan.
Well, you're a race car driver. You always want to put up a little bit of a fight, which I think he'll try to do, but this is going to be tough. This is going to be really, really tough. You don't want Karam to get so far away that there's no chance here whatsoever. I mean, Richie Hearn, he's a driver who is still looking. That was his first pole. This is his 26th race. Still looking for that first win. He's only got 4 top 5s in the series, so this could be an extremely positive day for him. But when you're in first and you've been for, I mean, more than a third of the race, almost half of it, you want to stay there. But I get what you're saying, but the pressure, it's on now, indeed.
And he went a bit to the inside in through turn 10. That's going to compromise him all the way down into turn 1. It might look very simple here to come across the line to complete lap 21. Alanis is down onto the pit road as well. So it's Hearn from Karam as we come under the bridge and across the start-finish line. It was Karam taking victory in the first 3 races of the season. If he hadn't missed out on competing in Phoenix, potential history, 4 races in a row. But to the front he goes, looking for that fourth victory on the season. And now will try and run away from the cars chasing him down. I think the question will become is Richie Hearn and Aaron Morgan here, Dylan, how much they choose to scrap amongst themselves.
I'm sure the scrapping will be amongst them too for second place, because unless Sage Karam has a bit of an issue or Richie Hearn or Aaron Morgan are able to just pull out some incredible laps, I just don't see how Sage Karam is going to lose this race.
And so it turns out, you asked if this was a spec series, Dylan. Turns out even putting a poor old Sage at the back of the field, 30 cars, he can rocket his way to the front and not even break a sweat, give about halfway through the race.
I'm sure he's still complaining about something, though, in that car. That's what all race car drivers do, right? Something's not quite right, and puts in a 129. Well, we hear Lewis Hamilton every other week, right?
It's never the driver's fault, that's for sure. There is still some incredible action with cars with some damage. I think 2 teammates scrapping it out with Robert Mikes in the 17. There's Nick DeGroot with Covey Moore trying to follow him on through on the 17. So for 19th, 20th, and 21st. Damage to the rear wing on the 17. But it does look as though the 2 factory-backed cars relatively unscathed through the carnage in the opening 23 laps here.
I do wonder if once this gap between Sage and Robert Mikes, Covey Moore, and Nick DeGroot comes down, when he starts to have to deal with traffic, packs of traffic, will there be any action that will happen? Because right now it's around a 24-25 second difference that's going to keep going down quite rapidly, I would say. Question is, do they just move over? I don't know.
I don't know, actually. I'm thinking about it. How long is it going to take them to catch up? It's about 2 seconds in terms of the best lap time differential, but given the damage that DeGroot and company have, it's almost 4 or 5 seconds. At the line, never mind, at the line it's 1 second, so maybe just pit stops coming into effect there. Will take a decent amount of time as you see Richie Hearn getting a bit sideways on the steering there. Let's take a look at our Sim Experience driver profile for the former Indy competitor. 29 starts. This will be his 30th start in his Retro Series career. 10 top 10s and looks to make it 5 top 5s as well. The first start back on the road course at Watkins Glen, and it's only fitting that his best finish as well was a 3rd place at Road America. He will be looking to go 1 step better than that. He's already added to the pole count that sat at 0. See what he can do, because he's keeping Karam very honest right now. The only victory, by the way, that Hearn had in his IndyCar career was at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway back in 1996.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at all of his results here right now, and that was his best result. He had a lot more, he had a lot better racing once he did switch over completely to IndyCar. Spent a good amount of time, though, in kart. I believe his best finish there was a 5th place in 98. I believe this was at Michigan as well, 12th round of that series. A 5th place, not too shabby at all. In 96, though, a 3rd place finish in the Indy 500. Wow.
And on debut as well. I mean, what better way to kick off your association and memories of such a historic track. We saw, I think it was coming through Siberia or into Siberia out of Honda. Both Hearn and Karam very sideways. Morgan even more sideways and has lost out a couple of extra tenths of a second to the top 2. Look at how close the gap is, though, between Hearn and Sage Karam here. It's only 8 tenths of a second at the line here, and he's using that draft very well to be able to keep up here. And I wonder if he's able to do a bit of an undercut in the strategy here, Dylan, and what he can do to cycle himself back out to the front.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a really good job staying right with Sage Karam right now. I'm impressed. We saw Aaron Morgan and the two other competitors with him, and Michael O'Brien, Chris Reagan, able to stay with Karam for a good bit. But we have to remember, this is Richie Hearn by himself. Yes, he's going to be a little bit aided by the draft of Karam, but he also has to worry about that dirty air coming into play, coming around some of these very quick quarters. And he is staying right there. This is impressive.
Listen to the engines as they throw themselves in towards the uphill double lefter. Love that section of corners. Hearn now following on the correct line as well. Maybe was feeling some pressure when Karam was in the rearview mirrors, but now the target's in front. It's always easier to set your mind to things that are attainable, and well, nothing is more attainable than holding on to the car in front of you right now. Not the easiest challenge, and Karam is trying to pull away tenths of a second at a time. At the line, it will be still 8 tenths. Looking for the lap times, it was a 1:21 for Karam the last time around. A 1:21.303. Difference in lap time there, 6 thousandths of a second.
Amazing. Amazing. I mean, the good thing is didn't have to do much math if you were just looking at the gap as they crossed the line both of the last 2 laps, just because it went up by 5 thousandths or 6 thousandths of a second. So not really, nothing to separate these two. If Richie can keep a really good distance right now to Sage, then we might see the Karam Hearn battle continue in this race. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I know we're watching the battle for 6th, but Richie Hearn just went off.
Oh, and he's got damage to the front end there. Morgan around the outside will come into second position, but Hearn's still on the podium. Let's see what happened then to the 70 machine. Yeah, look away for a moment at a track like this, Dylan, and well, it just things are kicking off. And I mean, the Discord server is also kicking off with a lot of intensity as, oh, there's just a bit too much power on the grass as well, and Hearn is lucky to not have more damage, I would think, there.
Oh my goodness.
Watch this. Watch the hands as well. You can see, just tries to hang on to it, Dylan, but once that thing had snapped, it was gone.
You know what? I gotta say, it's impressive to see how calm he was when he did go into the grass. Nothing too dramatic for him once he did go off there. It's that experience coming into play, knowing how to save a car. That is a shame, though. That was, I mean, you're usually the one with all these broadcaster jinxes.
Yeah, this time it's all on you, isn't it, Dylan?
Yeah, a little bit.
So this is Harding and Razmas. We'll pick them up once more because they're the closest cars on track. Just a tenth of a second between the two of them for 6th and 7th. A working lap 27 out of 51, so officially past the halfway marker in this race. Had at least one switch around for the lead. That's one more than we had last season. Don't think it's going to be added to this time around. Dylan, the gap between Karam and Morgan, and now up to 5.1.
Yeah, I do think now that as long as Karam just puts in even just low 121s, he's got this. I mean, it would take something immeasurable from what we've seen so far from all the other drivers in the field today to continue to reel in Sage.
Now I guess the question is, Richie Hearn versus Aaron Morgan for second. Do they drag the likes of O'Brien and Reagan into the podium positions as well? So still a long way to go here, Dylan. And I mean, we started with 30 cars. We are down to just 21 out there and circulating.
That's crazy. I mean, it happened so quickly as well. And it definitely didn't need to happen this way. Just way too many unnecessary dive bombs at the beginning of the race, in my opinion. By the way, Nick DeGroot is around 10 seconds or so in front of Sage Karam at the last time they crossed the line. So we'll see when that will come into play. But he is not racing for position. Kobe Moore and Robert Mikes are 6 seconds in front of him.
Go take a look at if something happened then to Nick DeGroot in the 89 car. The all-seeing RaceBot TV replay machine has the answer, as always. In through Lukey Heights. It's going to get it wrong down into the braking zone. Just a bit deep. Not for the first time we've seen that today. Does a good job to...
Anticlimactic.
Well, he does, as I've once heard it termed, the Malone Shuffle. Able to slam on the brakes and the throttle at the same time, bring that car to a complete stop. And like you said, an anticlimactic and 10 seconds then adrift from the cars that he was battling before. So his teammate has Robert Mikes all to himself to fend off. So this is one battle to take a look at. You've got Isaac Snyder trying to chase down Craig Forsyth for 15th and 16th. And then, of course, Ricky Harding, Mike Razmas. But working lap 28 then, Dylan. Cars have slowly separated themselves out, and we are now seeing what the long-run pace looks like from all of these drivers.
Yeah, a little bit of calm has kind of fallen over Phillip Island right now. And can I just say, for everyone who wants to know, Arjuna is the man behind it all with the all-seeing eye here for the camera shots. And, my man, you are fantastic at that. Seriously, like, you don't get enough credit for what you do from the general public, so here it is.
Well, thank you, Dylan. I do like, by the way, being that all-seeing eye. I feel very powerful knowing that if you make a mistake on the screen, I will find it and I will be able to public shame you as well.
Okay, how about Hugo whenever I'm racing? Then he puts me on the spot.
I know, and that I feel like sometimes is just manufactured drama as well. What I will say when it comes to the public shaming, if
De Groot went off.
No, not De Groot, his teammate Kofi Moore. So both of the factory
De Groot
back
did too.
Wait, really? Oh, deja vu! As Nick Sudik puts it in the YouTube chat once more at the bottom of the hill at turn 10.
Eurobeat.
Eurobeat intensifies. Yes, indeed. Straight to the replay machine. I believe it was De Groot first, or is this De Groot the last time around? This is De Groot the last time around. My all-seeing eye has kind of mismoved me there. Here we go. This is once more De Groot just off. Less anticlimactic this time around. Let's check out what happens to his teammate then in the 15 machine.
Let's see. And a little bit of a wiggle, a little bit of a slide, and yeah, a little bit of damage. That's unfortunate right there.
Oh, sorry, Dylan. Back to live pictures. What's happened to Michael O'Brien?
Oh, no.
That looks like the exit of the southern loop. Not the first time we've seen a car off, but not usually that far off, that early in the corner as well. So indeed, Michael O'Brien off the track through turn 2. He has fallen to now 8th position as there goes Guyon, there goes Alanis as well.
I'm trying to see if he has any suspension damage because he went in pretty hard right there.
And was that
into
a
the tire barrier? I think it was, yes. Look at that. It doesn't look... I'm trying to see. It doesn't look like he has much suspension damage, if anything, which is terribly lucky. I don't know. He is actually, in live picture, he's... yeah, he definitely has a bit of suspension damage in live picture.
Oh, yeah, you can see to the front wing as well. Let's see if we can take...
I didn't even see that.
Let's see if we can take a look at the steering angle. Oh, yes.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
I mean, reminiscent of sometimes being on an oval where straight isn't necessarily straight. Looks like more like he's got a dead zone here playing on the left-hand side.
Watch behind. Watch behind.
He has to come down onto pit road. That's what I would expect. There we go. The 45 car. What a promising day it was for him. Has to interrupt then the pit stop cycle, and let's see how much damage he'll have to repair as well. Well, the victims continue to mount up here at Phillip Island, Dylan. Not sure what's in the air here today, but our first trip out of the U.S. is clearly catching some people out. I'm going to guess maybe jet lag a bit of a factor here.
I was going to say sea salt.
Ooh.
That could be the answer. I don't know. Jet lag, sea salt, the pressure to perform well for you, Arjuna. These are all things that I struggle with on a daily basis.
On board, we are with DJ Clark. He was podium finisher in the season opener at Homestead.
Feels so long ago.
I know, that's what I was going to say. It feels like so long ago. It has not been a fun season for Clark by any means. A GSRC commentator, usually in the booth for a couple of occasions. Has De Groot gone off the track again? No, he's down onto pit road. That's what's happening there. So another car cycles their way down onto pit road, picking up Clark and Sirois once more. Oh, what a disappointing day it will be for the Lavoie Motorsports 99 car, Dylan. I mean, starting on the outside of the front row. And what can you say? I mean, victim of circumstance, I mean, at the end of the day.
Yeah, there really isn't much that you can say, and it's just a shame in general that all of these issues have plagued this race for a lot of competitors who we did think would have a lot to do in this race today. It started even before the pace lap began. That's the incredible thing. A little bit of an omen, if you will.
And I don't even think we really went and took a look at what happened there. So I tell you what, let's take this little bit of a lull period in the race to see if we can do so. Not always something that makes the iRacing gods happy, as there goes Clark trying to find a way through, but almost slips off the track.
Goodness.
Just about holds on to it. Let's see if we can indeed pick this up. Okay, here we go. It is not fallen us astray this time around. We're trying to look for Chris Staples in the 96, and we'll start with him. Oh, Malone from behind. And then you said it was Covey Moore and who was the other one? Cody Wenzen.
Yes. Oh, man. You got to pay attention on these. Like, you think it's easy, but you got to be a little more cautious, and that's only to help yourself, not to help necessarily other competitors, but in situations like this. I mean, that's why iRacing has the safety rating system. This is the beginning, I believe, as well, yes. Because you get incident points whether it was or wasn't your fault. A reason? Well, there's always something you could have done to avoid it. And that's usually, but not that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
not that.
I was going to say, you're usually you would be right, but just happened that the one time we're looking at the replays from the start of the race, I don't think you could necessarily say that.
No.
Just wanted, I think, while we were back there at the start of the race, to give new viewers who are just tuning in a sense of what happened in the early stages. A bit of a massacre down into turn 4. Chris Fowler just missing his braking zone. Not the first time I've seen something like that, Dylan. I've commentated on an endurance race here that in 4 hours I'm reliving nightmares just saying this out loud. But 7 safety cars in 4 hours. Feel free to ask Jonathan Burke about that experience, by the way, if you want to.
I think I know what series this
I think you know which one it was as well.
Yeah.
However, the reason I bring that one up is in through turn 4, in one of the later restarts that we had, it was very chaotic in the LMP2 category. I saw a similar move, but whereas I think Chris Fowler just made a mistake and got the braking point a little bit wrong and not trying an aggressive move or anything like I've seen in this other race. In this other race, a driver tried a very late and very aggressive move that really sent a chain of events into effect that I don't think he foresaw happening. It was just unfortunate, not his intention by any means, but difference being aggressiveness versus just slight mistake. I think Chris Fowler should not feel too bad about what happened down into turn 4.
Yeah, you know, it's a small mistake that leads to a bigger calamity than the mistake necessarily was, because you can misjudge a braking zone and you can just take yourself out of a position. We saw that with Sage Karam going into 10, if you remember correctly. Well, that could have been an even worse result if it happened on lap 1 with a bunch of traffic around. It's more of a timing-based thing. When it happened, that was the unfortunate part here. Sage Karam just sets a new overall best, a 128.4.
Here comes Aaron Morgan, though, down onto pit road. So pitting a little bit early, but we know that everyone is required to do 2 stops. I just wonder what he's doing here. We know from past experience that the Lotus 79, Dylan, becomes a rocket ship as the fuel burns away. He's coming then down a little bit early, filling up a bit more fuel as well. 7.4 seconds in the box.
I really do wonder exactly why he is doing that. He's also going to come right back out in traffic as well. I don't know. I mean, hey, listen, it's not always a bad idea to try and roll the dice on strategy, especially when you are so far away from the lead at the current moment. Oh no, you're not again.
Unfortunately, yes, the all-seeing guy, Nick, does not miss this. I think what we can do, maybe for the next time, Dylan, let's do a bit of charity action here. We can encourage people to donate to a charity of their choosing.
Yes.
And we'll turn a blind eye to things that happen out there on track. But it's a limited time offer, so they better get on that as soon as they can. I think pit window, though, will be open here. Let's see what happens the next few times around. It's Snyder aggressively trying to get past Roberts, who's equally resolute in his defense in through Honda, but still side by side they work. The 13 tucks into line 4 now. Where is Morgan? Now, in comparison to the rest of the traffic, Dylan, he's a couple of tenths clear of Kalisto behind, and 3.7 seconds behind Ariel Alanis.
Karam just went 0.06 faster.
Oh, my. This is not fair.
Oh my goodness, that is unbelievable. Ariel Alanis, yeah, like you said, I believe you said he was just going into the pits. Yes, he has entered the pits, and he was the last one to go in, if you remember correctly, from the first pit cycle.
This is just not fair, Dylan. I mean, look at the last 4 laps on the left side of your screen. 28.96, 29.97, 28.40, 27.83. What a machine, and now leads this race by 11.5 seconds.
That HyperX slogan, "We're all gamers," well, that's true. Sage Karam is more than a gamer, I must say.
Sage Karam was a man on the mission from the very jump. I mean, here's DJ Clark to the inside of Sirwa. These guys, a battle of the red Lotus 79s in through turn 2. DJ Clark up into 12th, but of course, they will cycle down onto pit road. What can you say about Karam? I mean, I said it slightly earlier. He was a race away from Lionheart history. 4 victories in a row in the Retro Series. The only reason that he had to step aside, Dylan, was real-world commitment announcing his ride for the upcoming Indy 500. So, I mean,
no big deal.
No big deal. It could have been so different. But now second place in the championship. Taylor will finish in 29th. Probably going to have to use one of the drop weeks that he is allowed to use. It's Karam who will be back to the top of the championship standings.
So Karam, if he did win at Pocono, which he did not, he finished 15th, would he have broken the record even though he had to miss a race?
Ooh, that's...
By the way, DJ Clark just, he has found himself a new world.
He's found himself an alternate line to take as well. I think the answer to your question there is it's actually Clark trying to find a way onto pit road as well. The answer to your question is we need to ask the Lionheart history keepers there, because they'll be the ones to actually tell us if it would count as a consecutive winning streak. My suspicion would be yes. Let's take a look here for Clark. Ooh, not coming down onto pit road. He's sideways even before then. Slightly aggressive, and I think maybe just realizes the smartest thing to do is shortcut the pit entry and come down for the final time today. Let's pick up some of the other battles. Snyder has gone on past Roberts, so that's 9th and 10th cycling themselves through. Waiting for Sage Cameron, Richie Hearn to come down onto pit road, because they'll, of course, Dylan, be ones that we're watching in comparison to Aaron Morgan. Richie Hearn the last couple of laps has been faster than Morgan. Is Hearn going to do the overcut here?
I mean, why not? He may as well, right? He wants to have a shot here at getting past Aaron Morgan, so it's not necessarily a bad idea to do that, Arjuna. And you know what? I think they can go to lap 41, Karam, Hearn, on this current strategy that they're on. I think, because they went in at the end, I believe, of lap 20.
Sorry, Dylan. I know you're talking about something very important. I've just been shocked by what I saw on my timing screen. 1:20.622 from Sage Karam. He is almost, let's put that into comparison, into line here, into the rest of the field. Richie Hearn at 1:21.425, 0.8 of a second slower than the race leader.
Do you want to, how are we going to put this into words? Sage Karam is good.
Oh, he's gone one better as well. What's he doing? A 1:24.70. I am losing my mind at the pace that Sage Karam seems to have. He's
remember the Glen?
He's magicking it just out of nowhere. I don't know how he does this, Dylan.
You remember at the Glen? He just kept churning out best lap after best lap. Oh, my goodness. You think this is going to be another? He's even dealing with traffic right now. Lap down, lap down, lap down, lap down.
What a machine. I mean, this would be, if he can hold on here, and I'm knocking on the wood to make sure I'm not putting the RaceBot TV commentator's curse down onto Sage Karam. 15th Lionheart Retro Series career victory. I mean, he wants a championship. He just needs to show up, I think, for enough races this season and make sure that he has this level of performance, because what's it going to be this time around? He's tucked up behind Malone, but in through turn 10, he's going to be given the run, and I tell you what, let's watch this lap time. I don't think he's coming in. Doesn't look like he's setting up for it. No, he's going to come through turn 12, 111 and counting. Can he go better for the third lap in a row?
You're going to lose it if he does.
I'm going to lose my mind. I don't think he will.
He's going to do it. He's going to do
He did it. Oh.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
My voice is saved, my mind is saved, but that's only because
now.
he had Malone, I think, as some traffic there, and I don't think he caught him in the optimal range. Gap though, 13.6 seconds back to Richie Hearn. More importantly, I don't know if Hearn has been setting the timing screens alight the last couple of laps, Justin. Morgan might still, excuse me, not Justin, Dylan. Morgan might cycle out in front of Hearn this time.
I was like, Justin Morgan, do we have a Justin on track? Hey, no, you're confusing me. It is all good, my friend. No, Richie Hearn is definitely not setting any times that are something to behold at. 121.2 his last lap. Aaron Morgan's last lap, though, in traffic was a 121.559. So he's going slower at the moment. But as for comparisons of their last few laps, I'd be curious to see exactly what it was.
I have a feeling Karen's going to come down this time around, working lap 40 of 51 into the closing stages of this race. Yes, here he comes. Down onto the lane is the race leader. 28 positions gained. Just has to make sure he doesn't speed on pit road this time around. Carefully into the box comes the Coanda Simsport driver representing the Raven Motorsports Black Team organization in this competition. Up on the jacks he will go. Of course, an awful pit box in this situation because qualified at the tail end of this field. As he rolls off the jack, let's put this into perspective. Richie Hearn is not even in the pit road just yet.
Seriously?
Well,
oh my goodness.
That's because actually I thought Richie Hearn, from the speed that he was on my timing screen, was coming down onto pit road. Just his internet connection giving me a bit of confusion there. Hearn and Reagan staying at one extra lap, Dylan.
Yeah, Richie is, if he was putting down the quickest laps, I would say Hearn is going so fast his internet can't even keep up with him. Although the joke doesn't work out as well when it's Sage Karam putting down the laps that he is putting down right now.
The gap between Karam and Morgan, that's the one that I'm curious about. 14 seconds coming in through turn 2 for Morgan. So Richie Hearn is going to feed out right into the path of the 48 car here, Dylan. This is going to be an exciting fight to the end of the race.
Yeah, this is probably the fight to look at for the end of the race to see exactly what happens. Hearn, you have to expect him to go in this lap. I mean, it is lap 41. We were saying that this is probably, yep, he's going in right now. So we'll see exactly where Morgan is as he enters pit lane. Aaron Morgan is going up Lukey Heights right now, so I don't know. I think Morgan's got him here.
Let's see what the pit stop time will be, though, for Hearn, because, of course, he only has to pit for 10 laps of fuel. Reagan in the purple and silver comes in behind him as well. The two teammates, this is the important stop they cannot afford to make a mistake in. Hearn carefully into that lead pit box. 3 seconds stationary and counting. Here comes Morgan working his way in through turn 12. And across the start-finish line he goes. There is Hearn. There's Morgan. Morgan's already up to speed. He's going to slot in just in front of Hearn, I do believe.
No. Oh, will he? No!
Coming in through turn 2. Morgan's tucked up right behind. He's already up to racing speed, though. 10 laps to go to decide second place.
Well, I didn't expect that at all. Richie Hearn from the overcut disappears, reappears, and he is still, amazingly, no Houdini trick. He stays right where he is, but he goes wide.
Incredible. I was so curious as to how that would play out. They're side by side heading into Siberia. Morgan supremely confident. Morgan into second as well. Oh, what a wonderful move that one was, Dylan, and just taking advantage of Richie Hearn coming up to racing speed.
Yeah, and coming up to that cold-tired Richie Hearn as well. That's going to obviously hurt his performance, but Morgan coming around the top of the track into turn 10, keeps it smooth. He needs to take advantage of the fact that he's already up to racing temperature in the rubber.
I think David Sirois has had an unfortunate tumble through the grass, not the first time today. He's down on pit road. That might be day done for the VAR Motorsports machine that started on the front row. It's going to be close, though, between Hearn and Morgan here. Hearn's going to have to do something special, I do think, to get this move done, but closing stages of the race, how desperate is he going to be here, Dylan? One more podium on the grabs for Richie Hearn.
My goodness. You know, he still has a podium in his sights if he just stays in third as well. So that question is going to be important.
Well, we've been so enthralled by the action here today. We haven't stepped aside for any commercial breaks. We're going to do that here very quickly in the closing stages. Don't go anywhere, though. The conclusion of this race right after these messages. Hello and welcome back to RaceSpot TV for continued coverage in the Lionheart Retro Series. Round 6 and the HyperX Grand Prix of Phillip Islands is in its closing stages, and just as we went to commercial break, a heartbreak for Richie Hearn. Pole position for the first time in his Lionheart Retro career, and a small spin has dropped him out of the podium positions. My name is Arjuna Kankipati. Alongside for the action is Dylan Coyle. Dylan, what a drive it had been for Richie Hearn up to that point, and such a shame to see it come to an end like that.
Oh, I know. We were so upset during the commercial break to see Richie Hearn just go off track, but he still is going. He still is in the top 5. There is a chance, an outside chance of a podium, depending on if Chris Reagan and Mike Razmas come together, and they're side by side right now for P3.
Take a look at that action very quickly before we go and see the replay of what happened to Hearn under commercial break there. What a shame. Pace was really strong right from the bat. Here is that incident coming through Siberia off into the gravel, able to lock that one down just in time. We'll take a look at the onboard look as well. As you can see, he just about keeps it out of the tire barriers there. Here's that onboard look. Listen to the power as well. Just snaps around on him, and well, the good news is here, Dylan, you'll watch as he noses it towards the tire barrier, just about avoid taking any damage. Like you said, if Razmas or Reagan comes unstuck, Hearn will be right there to pounce.
Yeah, and if he is able to do it, then, well, good for him. But now it's Chris Reagan and Mike Razmas. They want to get themselves into this podium position to stay. I think it's pretty much guaranteed, even though Morgan is only around 5 seconds in front of this lead pack, or the third and fourth pack of cars. I think he's pretty much got second wrapped up, and, well, Sage Karam, you know, he's doing Sage Karam things. Yeah, I mean, it was so important to talk about Richie Hearn coming back from commercial break. We didn't mention who was leading this race. I mean, it was pole for Richie Hearn. Opposite story for Sage Karam, starting all the way back in 29th position. A penalty after some contact earlier in the season. Had to fight his way through, and I mean, once he did so, Dylan, there was some commotion that he made his way through as well, but 18 seconds clear, I think that speaks volumes to the pace he had today. Yeah, absolutely, and he has done a remarkable job of making that car as strong as he possibly can. So Good on him. And you know what? I'm looking at the stats right here. The best finish that Chris Reagan has ever had in his 23 races coming into this one was third, and it was at Pocono in Season 4. So, this could be an opportunity for him to get another podium.
He'll have 5 laps to do it then. Final 5 trips around this wonderful circuit. I mean, no changes for the lead last time we came here. Doesn't mean it wasn't an intriguing race, and what a race we've been treated to here. 30 cars took to the green flag. We saw lots of commotion in the braking zone of Turn 4. Now left with just 18 cars out there and circulating, of which 13 are left on the lead laps. As always in this championship, Dylan, it's so important to stay out there. Keep pounding around and recovering whatever finishes you can, because those points will add up at the end of the season.
And, you know, we haven't really mentioned it throughout the rest of the race except for lap 1, but with Matt Taylor being involved in that incident, he's going to officially finish 29th. And with Sage Karam, the championship competitor, most likely finishing atop the podium, that does not look good for his championship run after this race. But hey, Karam, he's a busy guy, so it doesn't necessarily mean that Taylor is going to have to fight tooth and nail every race against results like this from Karam.
It's going to be close as well with Aaron Morgan, who took victory the last time we were at a road course. As you can see, that was Razmas trying to just duck and dive through the traffic, trying to find a little bit of clean air to use to his advantage. Just taking a look, sorry, Dylan, at my championship standings right now. Morgan probably will cycle himself up into third. He talked about Chris Reagan. What about Mike Razmas sitting very comfortably third place in this championship with Reagan in fourth? Consistent runs for them have taken them to the positions they're in, as it's Razmas going defensive down into turn 4. These guys need to be careful not to come to blows in the closing stages here.
Well, consistency matters when you don't have a gimmicked point system that bases wins more than anything else.
Shots fired.
Shots fired!
Nothing that IndyCar would ever look at doing, that's for sure.
Yeah, never, ever, please.
Please, yes, please indeed. It will be 3 laps to go at the line, and it's Sage Karam coming across the start-finish line right now to begin the last 7 and a bit miles here in Phillip Island. What a trip he's, I'm sure, enjoyed to the virtual Australia. Now all eyes focused on the month of May and what's coming up ahead. Qualifying for the Indy 500. 35 entries means 2 cars will be bumped. I'm sure he's going to be very focused for not this coming weekend, the Indy GP, but the weekend after that. It's all about Indianapolis 500 qualifying.
I didn't even realize there were 35 entries. So a bump day at Indy is a good day. I always feel. I'm just hoping that we see more of Hinchcliffe getting in instead of getting bumped out like he was just a couple years ago.
Well, any day at Indy is a good day. I'd probably argue there.
Okay.
I was slightly hoping that I'd be able to go and visit this year, but it will have to wait at least till 2022. I'm sure when we have 100% attendance back as well. That's going to be a totally different experience. I was talking to some of the team that I know that have been there over the last 12 months, specifically in August, as Reagan very sideways coming out of Siberia. RaceSpot's own Aaron Likens, who's now an NTT IndyCar flagman, so no longer part of our Indy 500 coverage, which starts this coming weekend with the Fix 500.
You'll be on air.
He'll instead be up in that flag booth right on the start-finish line. I was taking a look at some photos he was posting. Not jealous at all of the position he's in.
He's a great guy. Have you ever had the chance to meet him in person?
I haven't, and I tell you what, that's one reason I want to go to India, just to meet so many of these people. I've had the pleasure of calling a race with Aaron once before, and I tell you what, Dylan, he didn't have a production feed at all, and you wouldn't have known if I hadn't told you just then.
Yep, he knows exactly what's going on all around the track, so that doesn't surprise me. Great guy. He's got a very interesting story. Oh!
And that's, I think, a lapped car coming together with a car on the lead lap. Covey Moore in the factory back 15. And like you say, Ariel Alanis closing stages of the race. Oh, Alanis had been having a rather good run. Still in the top 10. Oh, loses it by himself. And Covey Moore loses it in front of him. Let's see if we can get a better aerial look at this angle.
You know, there's just been way too much synchronized spinning in this race, and it's actually frustrating me that this isn't an Olympic event right now.
Well, sim racing is now a part of the Olympics, so I think we need synchronized sim spinning as well.
Synchronized sim spinning.
It rolls off the tongue.
Oh, you saw that? A little bit of a wiggle right there. Final lap already.
It has flown past, so 50 laps done. One more trip around this wonderful circuit at Phillip Island, and it will be a 4th victory on the season for Sage Karam. What can you say about the pace that he's had? I mean, it struggled a bit at Pocono, yes, but 3 victories to kick off the season. Returns to the HyperX victory lane, we're presuming, at the conclusion of this lap, Dylan. He's a man on a mission. Can't wait to see what he gets up to in the month of May.
I mean, that's going to be 4 wins out of 5 races for him, as there's a spin, by the way. I'm sorry to cut off our Sage Karam viewing. Spin right in front of Reagan and Razmas, so that is dangerous, and it's great. We're going to see Karam cross the line, and then 23 seconds later, we're going to see these competitors cross the line. Karam doing a very nice thing for us.
Yeah, Rasmus and Reagan still very, very close, so watch out for them to switch around. They're working their way in towards Stoner and Siberia right now, but all eyes at the front. Once more, it's Sage Karam. He's not had an easy day by any means. Started back in 29th, showed the true meaning of being a Lionheart, to work his way through the field, fought his way past Richie Hearn as well, and then dominated. 20 seconds clear from the rest of the field. Karam takes victory in the HyperX Grand Prix of Phillip Island. Once more, we will talk to him in the HyperX victory lane as well. But for now, let's check out this battle for the final step on the podium. Morgan will come across the line in 2nd, and it will be Mike Razmas in 3rd, with Christopher Reagan in the purple and silver, settling for 4th position. Some very well-earned championship points for all of these drivers, but big disappointment for Richie Hearn as he comes across the line to get a top 5 finish here today, Dylan. He would have been hoping for another podium finish.
He would have been hoping for at least a 2nd place finish, especially with the run that he had, but very unfortunate. Nonetheless, though, it was a great run for him, and this is going to be one of his, so far, only a few retro series podiums. I think it's well-deserved. Or no, podiums, top 5s, I should say. It's well-deserved.
I think a podium probably even more what he would have wanted. Maybe we'll get a chance to speak to Richie, but we will wait and see as we work our way into our HyperX post-race show. Still waiting for the final cars to come across the line. There's Trevor Malone in 11th. 70 seconds adrift from the race leader. Here comes George Anzaldo, series organizer, 12th on the day for him. 8 positions gained as well. He'll be pretty happy as there come the 2 factory-backed cars as well. But it is Sage Karam, the happiest of them all. And guess what, Dylan? He's about to burn the house down with some well-earned donuts.
He's looking like, well, I was going to say he was looking like me with some of these donuts. Not exactly the most experienced with me. He's going to hit the wall.
Just about keeps it out, though.
I thought I was going to actually be able to say that me and Sage, that Sage and I did something very similar.
Oh, look at that shot, though. What a shot. That's
sick.
That's some better donuts. It took him a few minutes to find the optimal position, Dylan, but there we go. He's showing us.
Hit the wall, hit the wall.
You're hoping.
He's going to do it.
You're
He's
hoping.
going to do it. He's going to do it.
Get that super.
No, he's not going to do it.
Let's see if we can get that super close-up shot. Don't think we can because, of course, the start-finish line is not flat. It is very much up and down. And there we go. Engine expires. Donuts come to an end. Let's go take a look then at our Carnox race results. These are unofficial. Race Control, I think, has plenty to work their way through in a chaotic 51-lap affair. But Sage Karam, I mean, dominant on the day. Fastest lap, a 1:20.470. That is about 4 and a bit tenths clear of the rest of the field. He is also 22 seconds clear of Aaron Morgan in the 48 car. Victor, last time on the road courses, settles for 2nd step on the podium. Mike Razmas in 3rd with Christopher Reagan in 4th. And Richie Hearn rounding out the top 5. Lots of new names and fresh names up in that top 5. Great to see consistency from lots of these championship contenders. Ricky Harding in 6th with Lionel Callisto in 7th. 3 positions gained there in the 97 with Alex Guyon, Ariel Alanis, and Paul Jenkins rounding out the top 10. Trevor Malone in the teal 34. 11th position for him. Final car on the lead lap, George Anzaldo. He'll be very chuffed about that. 12th on the day for the Raven Motorsports Silver Machine. Isaac Snyder, the first of the cars, 1 lap down with Danny Roberts, DJ Clark, Craig Forsyth, Covey Moore, and Nick DeGroot all puttering their way to the checkered flag. David Sirra, he started on the outside of the front row. What can you say about him other than heartbreak? Contact made on lap 1 drops him to 19th, with Robert Mikes rounding out the top 20. With Michael O'Brien, Paul Slavonic, Cody Wenzen, Chris Staples, Chris Lanini, Caleb Benshi, Tyler Graff, John Francois, Matt Taylor, and Chris Fowler rounding out our graveyard of cars in pit road. What a shame for Matt Taylor, championship leader coming into this one, Dylan. He will leave a very disappointed man.
Yeah, that is such a shame for Matt Taylor. You know what? There's still a lot of racing left to go this season. There's a lot that can happen.
Well, it is time to work our way into our HyperX post-race show, because the Lionheart Racing Series is powered by HyperX, makers of premier gaming gear like the legendary ultra-comfortable Cloud line of gaming headsets. Whatever you play, however you play, HyperX knows that we're all gamers. For more information on HyperX products, visit hyperxgaming.com, and don't forget to use the promo code Lionheart15, that's LIONHRT15, for 15% off all orders. Well, let's bring in the man himself. Not sure if he's already standing by, but it is Sage Karam once more in the HyperX victory lane. And Sage, do we got a copy?
Yep, I'm here.
So Sage, I mean, it was 3 victories on the trot to start off the season. Then you had to step away for some real-world commitments, and not necessarily the easiest reintroduction to the action. But back in victory lane, championship aspirations back on track as well. You must be a pretty elated man heading into the month of May.
Yeah, no, this is pretty good. You know, I had to start last from an EOL from a prior race. So, you know, I figured let's get it out of the way. Let's go to this race and try and make up as most points as we could. But, you know, we had a really good start, and I was able to gain a lot of spots on, like, the first 2 laps. And that's kind of like what, you know, kept me in this thing. And, you know, originally my plan was to pit on, like, lap 12 and then try and get clean air and just run fast laps and hopefully jump guys just because of that, you know, just having clean air. But once I got up towards the top 10 pretty quickly, I was able to just be able to go on the same strategy as them and you know, just run quick laps and not make mistakes, and was able to grab the lead. You know, guys like Richie and Morgan, you know, they're really good drivers. So it was hard, you know, to get up there. And then once we got up there, we were able to break the draft and just kind of do our own little thing and put our head down and turn some quick laps. So really happy about that. You know, like you said, I got May coming up, so I leave on Sunday and I won't be around. But, you know, like I said earlier in the year, you know, I want to win this championship. I think I'm not going to be running much IndyCar stuff for a bit. You know, I'm taking a little break from that as far as the Lionheart IndyCar stuff is concerned. But I want to really focus on this and try and go for the championship.
Well, you said you're leaving on Sunday. You got lots of things to focus on as well with Bump Day, just a couple of weeks away. That will be, I'm sure, high stress, but always where you want to be come the month of May. Talk to us about one moment in particular, Sage. First, there was a move down the inside where you got 2 in 1 down into turn 1. That put you into second and gave you the clean air to hunt down the cars in front. Didn't seem like Aaron Morgan or even Richie Hearn was fighting you too hard. You guys had some good clean racing. It's always great to see that in the Lionheart Retro Series.
Yeah, no, mostly for the most part, everybody raced pretty clean. I think their strategy was just kind of, you know, let me get in front and stay in the draft. You know, the draft was about 4 or 5 tenths down the straightaway, so if you could stay within half a second through the lap, you could stay in the draft and kind of keep it there. And I think that's what people were going for. And I was, you know, for a long time there, before I got around Richie, when I was chasing him down, I was taking that little pack with me to get up to Richie. And then, you know, they made a little mistake and I broke the draft, and then that was it. So, I mean, the draft was huge. So I think they were kind of keen on following me and just kind of hanging out and seeing what was going to happen. But then, you know, obviously I didn't see the race, but I saw Richie fell down the order. I don't really know what happened to him, so probably some misfortune and stuff. But, you know, he was quick all night. You know, I think he was on the pole, and, you know, so to see him running well is really cool.
And we've kind of danced around the topic. Let's talk about the month of May now, Sage. You must be thrilled. You say you head out on Sunday. How excited are you about heading back once more to this track and having 35 cars, that extra pressure of bump day, but that's what makes Indy so very special.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to get back, for my 8th 500. Hopefully, we got to qualify, like you said, 35 guys going for it. And, man, am I stressed. It's very stressful. We haven't really had the strongest qualifying the last few years, so I'm hoping we found some gains. I hope, the Chevy engine is strong, and we can take the fight to the Hondas. But I'm super stressed right now. This was kind of good to get on the sim and just kind of forget about real racing for a second, just focus on something else. And but like I said, man, I'm stressed. There's 35 guys, and all 35 men and women are very qualified to be there. This is probably one of the hardest fields I've ever seen at the Indy 500 to qualify for. I know it's only 35 cars, but all 35 drivers are insanely talented. So 2 good guys or women are going to go home, and it's unfortunate. I wish we could all race, but that's kind of the drama of Indy, and that's what makes it special. But come next Sunday, if we qualify, that'll take about 80% of the stress off my shoulders, and then we can go race.
Well, looking forward to seeing you in action, Sage. Good luck, and I'm sure the entire Lionheart crew will be cheering you on as well.
Yep, thank you guys.
So Sage Karam once more in the HyperX victory lane for the 4th time this season. Says he's stressed, but doesn't seem like you could really tell from that. Let's work our way then through these podium interviews. Let's bring in Aaron Morgan in the 48. Race winner last time we were on the road courses, and Dylan Coyle is standing by.
Absolutely. Aaron, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Now, you said in the Discord chat that you got very lucky with that lap 1 wreck. You didn't feel like your pace was the best. Why is that? Because it looked like you were going pretty fast from our point of view.
I don't know what it is. I'm just not a big fan of Phillip Island. I think it might be one of my, if not my least favorite track on all iRacing, at least road course. It's definitely in my top 3 least favorites, and I don't feel like I have the pace there, especially with the way the car was loose, because you got to turn this car with the throttle, but it just was too sketch for me to be confident with it. So I think that wreck took out at least 4 or 5 people that had better pace than me. And I mean, you can just see by Rasmus chasing me down by half a second to lap at the end. There's a lot of people that could have been ahead of me there.
Well, seeing the best lap time, you finished 4th out of all of the top times in the race. So you feel like you did have good pace, but is that you feel like just because you put up such high standards for yourself?
Well, yeah, I definitely have some high standards, but the fastest lap time probably came because of a good draft at somewhere or the other. But I do have a really high standard now that I've gotten these podiums. I've won a race on a road course. I like being that guy. Obviously Sage is just in a league of his own ahead of us, but being the guy to finish best of the rest after him is definitely where I need to be, especially if I do want to try to win this championship, because, well, he might miss races with Indy coming up, and real life, you never know. So if I can keep finishing next to him, just right behind him, I'll be very happy.
Yeah, so what's it like as a competitor seeing Sage, quite truthfully, dominate some of these races? What can you do? Is it almost disheartening?
It is a little, because there's just somehow he's running 20.5s, or I think he was running mid-20s during that race, and I was I could barely get below a 21 at all. I couldn't get below a 21, so it's just insane. I don't know how he does it, but hey, I mean, it's a high standard. I have a high standard, but I don't have a high enough standard of myself to think I could beat him quite yet.
Okay, fair enough. I feel like that would be most drivers in iRacing not being able to take the fight exactly the Sage. But is there anyone that you'd like to thank for how you did in this race with P2?
I want to thank the DMLC Racing Channel, Mark Cohn. He's sponsored me this year. I'm so appreciative of it. I never thought I would ever get an actual sponsor in iRacing or a league or broadcast, anything like that. And just, one of our league sponsors, Track Racer. This is my very first race ever in my new Track Racer, and it feels pretty damn good. So pretty happy about that.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on P2, and best of luck next time out at Mid-Ohio.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Arjuna?
6 positions gained for Aaron Morgan. He talks about the confidence he's getting from being the best of the rest. I mean, if you want to challenge Sage Karam, that might be what you need to do week in and week out. Final podium interview then. It is Mike Razmas in the 68, and he's standing by with Dylan Coyle.
Absolutely. Mike Razmas standing by. You have a copy?
I do, sir.
Awesome. Great to hear it. You were chasing down Aaron Morgan near the end of that race. You felt like you could get it done?
Yeah, I was pushing as hard as I could. I mean, I had Chris Reagan behind me who was in the draft, and he raced me really clean, and that's really fun. And I knew we were kind of both pushing to catch Aaron. I didn't know if he had damage or what was going on, but I was right on the edge the whole race, and I thought, if I could keep it in one piece and I finished behind him, that's okay. And that's kind of how it turned out, and pretty stoked about that considering the first lap. So
yeah, so take us kind of on board with your view of the incident. What happened?
well, that corner's notorious for wrecks on the first lap, and pretty sure the same thing happened to me last year, either in the Lotus official series or something. But yeah, we're just braking for the corner, and it was kind of an accordion effect, and I got hit from behind, and I guess I got pretty lucky for damage-wise, because my pace was pretty good afterward, and I just had to rejoin and kind of start passing folks if I could.
So in this race, you get a third place finish. It comes after a very nice battle with Chris Reagan. You were talking about you appreciated him driving you hard but clean. Do you feel like it's almost it uplifts you to know that in this series you can have some really great battles with drivers who are racing you hard, but again, clean?
It absolutely does, yeah. When you have like Aaron Morgan is great. I love racing against him because I know we're both going to give each other enough room to compete against each other pretty much without going off track. And people like Ryan, Otis as well. I have a lot of respect for them as well. And so one of those things where I'd rather finish in fifth safely than race someone and crash out or something like that. So yeah, there's a bunch of guys in this league that race like that, and I think they know that I race that way too. And so when you're racing directly against them, you can kind of push it a little bit, and it's always really fun that way.
What are you looking forward to about Mid-Ohio?
I'm going to be honest, not a whole lot. That track is real hard, and we're racing the IndyCar and the Retro car in that at Mid-Ohio, so I'm going to have to do a lot of practicing.
Okay, fair enough. Anyone that you'd like to thank for your result?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Graphics LC, it's Tyler, Graph, Mark Cohn, and George for the league. I always thank George and HyperX for giving us a lot of really good incentives to do well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on P3, and best of luck at Mid-Ohio, Mike.
Thanks, you guys.
Absolutely. Arjuna, some great talks with all of the podium finishers. This was a fantastic race. I'm happy we got a great race. We didn't know what to expect at Phillip Island.
Well, no lead changes last year, and I mean, might have been the same way if Sage Karam had decided to stay away from this one. You heard the comment from him that he's going to take a couple of weeks off the IndyCar series, given how that campaign in 2021 has been going for him. No such issues here today. I really ultimately feel heartbroken for what might have been for Richie Hearn. Pole position, he has to settle for a top 5 here today.
You know what? A top 5, it's not exactly what he would have wanted at the start of this race, but it's still a great result. And you're racing against some of the best drivers of the Lotus 79 on iRacing's platform. To finish there, it's pretty awesome.
Let's take a look at the schedule. You asked a couple of those drivers about Mid-Ohio. That will be at the start of June before our second Triple Crown event of the year. From the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, if I'm remembering correctly as well, that would be on a weekend. No, it's not. It's also on a Thursday night. So interesting call there. But we will be at the Brickyard. That will be a fun one. Kind of switching around the schedule now. We've gone, flipping back and forth between oval and road courses, Dylan. 2 back-to-back road courses. I think it's an interesting kind of thorn in the nail for some of our competitors. Some of them prefer the oval, some of them prefer the road courses. Let's see what they can do at Mid-Ohio.
Well, you know what? It's another interesting thing that we've went every other week with a race. March 4th, 18th, April 1st, 15th, 29th, May 13th. Then Mid-Ohio is June 3rd. Indy is June 24th. So 3 weeks in between these races now. It gets to a little bit of a lull, I guess you could say.
Races do get a bit more spread out as we come to a conclusion. Let's come to conclusion here today as well, live on RaceSpot TV and rebroadcast on ESTV. Round 6 of the Lionheart Retro Series is in the books, and that means we've got some thank yous to give out as well. So many people helped make the Lionheart Racing Series what it is, one of them being Sim Experience, the makers of the AccuForce Pro V2, the professional simulation racing steering system. The key to its incredible realism is the groundbreaking direct drive motor control system, providing a driving experience that's second only to the real thing. For more information on the entire Sim Experience ecosystem, visit simexperience.com. The Lionheart Racing Series is powered by HyperX, makers of premier gaming gear like the legendary ultra-comfortable Cloud line of gaming headsets. Whatever you play, however you play, HyperX knows that we're all gamers. For more information on HyperX products, visit hyperxgaming.com and don't forget to use the promo code Lionheart15, that's LIONHRT15 for 15% off all orders. For sim racers, the Butt Kicker Gamer 2 or Simulation Kit adds the missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism to your sessions. By accurately responding to in-game audio, you can feel the track like never before, providing increased vehicle handling and faster lap times. Are you ready for the most immersive experience in sim racing? Well, for more information, visit thebuttkicker.com and don't forget to use the promo code LION2021 for 20% off all orders. Minus 273 is the premier name in karting gloves. Their industry-leading gloves are super lightweight and durable, made of a breathable poly spandex. Whether you're a kart or a sim racer, Minus 273 gives you the control to reach victory lane. For more information on Minus 273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit minus273.biz and don't forget to use the promo code Minus273LHRS15 for 15% off all orders. Looking for entertaining sim racing content? Look no further than the DMLC Racing channel. Follow former Lionheart Retro Series Driver of the Year Mark Cohn's racing escapades as he battles for wins and avoids wrecks with cat-like reflexes. All while providing commentary sure to make you laugh, cry, or both. Follow along by subscribing to the DMLC Racing channel on YouTube and like his Facebook page at the DMLC Racing channel. It's not just them, but the whole team that makes the Lionheart Racing Series what it is. To learn more about these names up on your screen, visit LionheartRacingSeries.com, where you can also find more information about the 3 different competitions sanctioned by the Lionheart competition body. The Retro Series throws the classic Lotus 79 across the globe, while the Lionheart IndyCar Series brings the modern-day IR18 across of the US, with the Lionheart Speedway Series bringing the classic DW12 back to the iRacing service. If you want to follow RaceSpot TV for all of your sim racing coverage, follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and Instagram, and hit the red button and subscribe to us on YouTube to get notified every single time we go live with a great sim racing series we get to cover. ESTV has you covered for your esports needs. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to keep up to date with their programming schedule, while the Lionheart Series Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts have the latest comings and goings in Lionheart competition. Time to say goodbye. We'll be off for the month of May, but lots of coverage coming here on RaceSpot TV. It starts this coming weekend with the 2nd annual iRacing Fix 500. Sage Karam in Victory Lane here today. He was in Victory Lane 12 months ago. Who will take the 2nd annual competition of the drivers? A week after that, the 12th annual iRacing Indy 500, and you can catch all the action live on RaceSpot TV. My name is Arjuna Kankipati. I've been joined by the one and only Dylan Cole, with TV cameras provided to us by Istvan Ballo and TrackCams22.com. On behalf of the entire team at RaceSpot, thank you for tuning in to more Lionheart coverage, and we'll see you soon for more IndyCar action.